The most powerful person in any situation isn't the one who reacts first. It's the one who waits for the right moment to strike. Shaolin monks have mastered this truth, dedicating their lives to the art of stillness and discipline. Through meditation, breath control, and rigorous daily rituals, they developed a systematic approach to patience that no external force could shake. This method allowed them to face chaos with clarity and adversity with a dangerous sense of calm. When we picture a Shaolin monk, we imagine stillness, poised in meditation, flowing through combat with precise, measured movements. Silent, focused, unshaken. It's easy to assume they were born different, naturally calm, innately disciplined, immune to distraction or frustration. But that's a myth. Shaolin monks are not superhuman. They're trained. Every bit of composure you see is earned through thousands of hours of deliberate practice that is mental, physical, and emotional. What looks like effortless calm is often the product of effort you don't see. Patience in this context isn't passive. It's active. It's not about waiting quietly, it's about choosing not to react. Not because you feel nothing, but because you've learned how to sit with what you feel without being pulled by it. That's what we're exploring in this video. The truth behind the patience of Shaolin monks. What it is, how it's built, and how you can begin developing the same kind of internal strength without needing to live in a monastery or abandon your daily life. So, what is patience really? Patience is often misunderstood. Many people associate it with being passive, agreeable, or simply waiting without complaint. In everyday language, we treat it as a personality trait, something you either have or you don't. But from a psychological perspective, patience is something much more active. It involves emotional regulation, the ability to delay gratification, and the capacity to tolerate discomfort or uncertainty without reacting impulsively. Patience is not the absence of frustration. It is the skill of responding to frustration without being ruled by it. Cognitive psychology gives us a clear framework for understanding this. Patience depends on impulse control, distress tolerance, and future-oriented thinking. It requires noticing the urge to act and choosing not to follow it immediately. That ability to pause and decide, rather than react on autopilot, is central to what makes patience effective. Neuroscience supports this view. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for executive function, plays a key role in delaying action and regulating emotion. At the same time, the brain's reward system, particularly dopamine, drives us toward quick rewards and immediate feedback. Patience means resisting that pull long enough to act in a way that aligns with your values rather than your momentary desires. In this light, patience is not about waiting quietly. It is about maintaining control when everything in you wants to speed up, escape, or react. It is a skill, not a temperament, and it can be strengthened with practice. Modern life is not built for patience. Every day we are surrounded by systems designed to deliver information, entertainment, and gratification instantly. With just a few taps, we can order food, stream a movie, or find an answer to almost any question. There is rarely a need to wait, and even less need to tolerate discomfort while doing so. This constant access to immediate rewards reshapes how we experience time and effort. Psychologists refer to a concept called delay discounting, which describes how people tend to devalue outcomes the further they are in the future. For example, many people would prefer to receive $50 today rather than $100 a month from now, even though waiting would clearly offer a better reward. The more accustomed we become to instant results, the harder it is to stay committed to long-term goals that require steady effort, like building a fitness routine, finishing a degree, or saving money for something important. At the same time, the brain adapts to chronic stimulation by raising its threshold for engagement. What used to feel interesting or rewarding quickly becomes dull. A person might start a show, scroll through social media, check their messages, and then switch back all within a few minutes because no single activity holds their attention for long. Boredom becomes something to escape immediately rather than something to observe or work through. As this becomes a habit, we develop a lower tolerance for stillness, ambiguity, or effort without fast feedback. In this kind of environment, impatience is not a personal flaw. It is a learned response. Most people are not bad at patience, they are simply out of practice. And like any skill, it can be rebuilt through consistent training. This does not mean that people today lack character or willpower. It means we are practicing impatience constantly, often without realizing it. In many ways, patience has become a neglected skill, not because it is obsolete, but because our environment rarely gives us a reason to develop it. So, how do our Shaolin monk friends do it? Shaolin monks are known for their discipline, but that discipline is not confined to dramatic feats of strength or balance. It is built through daily repetition, silence, discomfort, and focused attention. Their training is both physical and psychological, and patience is not a secondary effect, it is a deliberate outcome. In this tradition, patience does not mean suppressing emotion. It means learning to observe internal experiences such as frustration, urgency, and restlessness without being overtaken by them. The goal is not to eliminate impulses, but to create enough space around them to choose how to respond. It is control through awareness, not force. Meditation plays a central role in developing that control. For Shaolin monks, meditation is not about escaping reality or chasing abstract enlightenment. It is attention training. In stillness, they repeatedly bring their focus back to the breath or to a single point of concentration, even as the mind wanders. Over time, this repetition builds the ability to sit with discomfort and stay present through internal turbulence. Modern neuroscience supports this. In a widely cited study, researchers examined the brain activity of experienced Tibetan monks during meditation. They found higher levels of gamma brainwave activity, which is linked to focus, emotional control, and mental clarity. These changes were not temporary. They showed lasting improvements in how the brain manages thoughts and feelings. For Shaolin monks, these changes are not theoretical. They show up in how they move, breathe, and respond, especially under pressure. Martial training reinforces this by requiring calm in the face of threat. A skilled practitioner must know when to wait, when to act, and how to hold composure even in combat. Reacting too early creates vulnerability. The discipline lies in restraint. Patience, then, is not about feeling nothing. It is about experiencing everything clearly and responding with intention. It is control without rigidity, built through structured practice and refined over time. First, micro-stillness practice. Set aside just 2 to 5 minutes a day to sit quietly without stimulation or distraction. You are not trying to empty your mind or achieve a perfect state. The goal is to notice what your body and mind do when there's nothing pulling at them. Restlessness may arise. Urges may surface. Let them. Each time you stay still instead of reacting, you're training impulse control and building awareness of your internal signals, a process known as interoception. This is where patience begins, in the ability to stay with yourself in stillness. Second turn, waiting into training. Waiting is built into daily life, in lines, in traffic, during load screens, or while food cooks. Instead of seeing these moments as wasted time, reframe them as reps. Observe your urge to fill the space by checking your phone, sighing in frustration, or mentally rushing ahead. Let the moment be what it is. Breathe. Shift your attention to your body, your surroundings, or your breath. These small windows are surprisingly effective opportunities to build patience, and they add up faster than you might expect. 3. Interrupt the reaction loop. Much of impatience plays out in seconds. A quick reply, a snap judgment, an impulsive grab for something comforting. One way to build patience is to pause before responding. Before you hit send, make a comment, or reach for your phone. Take 5 to 10 seconds. Label the urge, say, I feel like I need to check this, or I want to react right now. Then wait. This moment of delay re-engages the part of your brain responsible for self-control and opens space for a more intentional response. Fourth, seek slow challenges. In a world built for speed, deliberately doing something slowly can feel uncomfortable, and that's the point. Choose activities that naturally resist rushing. Read a physical book without skimming or multitasking. Cook a recipe from scratch without shortcuts. Work on a puzzle or simple craft with your hands. These kinds of tasks invite you to slow down and stay with the process, even when it feels tedious. They help retrain your attention to linger, to notice, and to persist. Think of them as endurance exercises for your focus. Over time, they build your capacity to stay present without needing constant stimulation. Fifth, train under load. Think about the last time you held a difficult stretch or a heavy lift for 30 seconds. Time seems to slow down. Your muscles shake, your breath shortens, and every second feels like a challenge. These are moments of load, when your body and mind both want to escape discomfort. Training yourself to stay with that sensation rather than fleeing it builds a deep kind of patience. You are not just enduring physical effort, you are learning how to stay steady under pressure. This kind of training transfers. When you can remain grounded through intense, short bursts of strain, everyday frustrations begin to feel more manageable. You're no longer practicing just for strength or flexibility. You're practicing for composure in any situation that tests you. 6. Act with intention, not emotion. The most sustainable form of patience is tied to purpose. Before you react, ask, what matters here? What kind of person do I want to be in this moment? Anchoring your actions to values rather than moods shifts the focus from temporary relief to meaningful response. Patience becomes less about suppressing how you feel and more about choosing what aligns with your long-term goals. When you act from intention, even frustration can become a teacher instead of a trigger. These practices may seem small: pausing before you speak, cooking without rushing, holding tension for just a few more seconds, but together they form a kind of training. They teach your mind and body how to stay steady when pressure builds. That is the heart of what Shaolin monks train for. Not to feel calm, but to remain centered through difficulty. Their patience is not the absence of stress. It is the ability to move through stress without losing clarity. In daily life, this becomes a quiet kind of strength. Patience gives you space to choose your response instead of being pulled by your first reaction. It is not slowness for its own sake. It is deliberate, grounded action even when everything around you pushes for speed and reactivity. In a world shaped by urgency, patience is power. It helps you hold your ground, maintain perspective, and act with intention. And like any power, it is not something you are born with. It is something you build one breath, one pause, one decision at a time. You don't need a temple to train for it. You just need to start where you are.